everyone, this is my reaction to the 10th episode of Akanesasu Shoujo. And unfortunately, last episode we did end off on a pretty sad note. Asuka, she kind of was left behind to defend her world, attack the what was presumably the Twilight King, which is probably Kyosuke, the brother, and that's big old mess of a lot of things there. So either she's dead, because the world that world seems to be gone. Like they couldn't go to it, so it's kind of heavily implies that the world is just gone. So the best we can really hope for is that the Twilight King just kind of captured Asuka and brought her back to a different world, and she's safe and sound in a prison somewhere, and we can rescue her. That's best case scenario. Second best case scenario is that similar to that, except that he's got her like brainwashed and now a member of his military, and because we could still maybe save her from that. Worst case scenario is that she just died, and that's the last time we'll ever see Asuka, which I don't want that to be the case. That's I like her. I don't want her to be dead, but she might be. I don't know. I'm still operating under the assumption that Sexy You is like a minion of the Twilight King. Just so many things kind of point to that, because she does seem to have been the Sexy You of Asuka's world, but secretive about it, and there's only one reason she would do that, and that would be it. And she also did not help much in that final bit there, so that's definitely what I'm leaning towards right now. But for now, I'm not sure where we go from here, because we can't go to that world anymore. I doubt we're just going to hop around other random worlds, right? So the only way I can see this going is we somehow find the coordinates to the Twilight King, probably from Sexy You for whatever reason, and we go there, like I said, on an attempt to rescue Asuka. That's the only thing I can predict as a possible direction. So yeah, but I'm sure we're gonna have at least a good sad 5 or so minutes of just kind of being lost and wondering what to do before we get to any of that, I would assume, because as far as they're concerned, Asuka's just gone. So yeah, that's a pretty tragic thing. Anyway, I'm stalled enough. Let's just get into the episode and hope for the best, because that's really all we can do at this point. So 3, 2, 1, play. Yeah, right where we left off. Most likely because that fragment's no longer there. Someone's got to say it. I know how you feel. So Sexy You is here. I don't know what that... At some point. I'm not sure I trust that. But it's definitely important that she has that. Because it does mean she interacted with her before. So I'm still convinced that she's alive. Just, like, captured. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, I just imagine Sexy You stole that from her rather than she gave it to her. Because of my theory as mentioned, I just don't buy that. If I'm wrong, I'm gonna feel like an asshole, but we'll see. And man, we're already on episode 10. The show's... We're pretty close to the end game here. I mean, we're pretty much in the end game at this point. I really don't know why this show is not more popular. Because it's a very solid anime. Like, it's got its predictable elements here and there, but overall, it's very solid, yeah. A lot of things it does is pretty well executed. Very interesting cast of characters. Very interesting premise, you know. There's really nothing wrong with it. Okay, just back to school, back to life as usual for now. Liar's party. So it's okay. That is very interesting. I imagine the liar would be sexy you, right? Literally the only thing I can think of. Something to keep your mind off of it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I was about to say, how's Asuka holding up? No, I'm pretty sure it's just more of an emotional thing. Exactly what I was thinking. Hopefully Asuka doesn't do anything stupid. What the? Uh, what? What the heck? Are you okay? You're scaring me now. Got a Chikawa, so she can't be that sad. I was not expecting the dancing. That really caught me off guard. I'm still kind of recovering from that. Yeah, if you can talk to us, if... Come on, Asuka. Like, I can kind of tell she's putting on a brave face and all that, but... That is good. Did I miss something? I might just be forgetting something, I don't know. But, yeah, I do feel like Asuka's trying a bit too hard here. Yeah, what's the deal with that? Right. I mean, I can definitely understand him wanting to pick up that torch. But yeah, we need guidance for that. Well, I guess we have what we need then. Yeah, that's a good point. With great power becomes great responsibility. As long as it's not too much of an inconvenience, I guess I could go out and do this. So, yeah, are you gonna have your arc now? Yeah, more than a little bit fake. Flashback? Are we gonna get a flashback? How long have you known her? May have forgotten that they're childhood friends. Yeah, that thing again. Uh, do what she feels like she has to do rather than what she wants to do. There's definitely a lot of parallels between that and what's happening now. Maybe Asuka will be the liar from the title. Maybe. Oh? What you talking? Oh, well, that could be a nice way to keep her mind off things. We'll put up Christmas decorations, it'll be very different. Uh... Okay, so I was wondering about that. Do we? Apparently not. Huh. Wow, she does that pose even for that kind of picture. Well, I guess we found him. That's good. I was wondering what happened to him, but if he became a Link, it makes sense why he wasn't there. So that makes sense, I guess. So what's gonna happen with him? I'm definitely curious. Oh no. Oh no, I knew this would happen eventually. It's coming to our fragment. It was only a matter of time. And he's here too. Don't know if we're gonna be able to have this party at this rate. And yeah, of course she makes that. Alright, so apparently we just get to borrow the cafe. And we brought the kid. I would imagine. So basically he just took over the Takumi of this world is just gone forever. Is that how this goes? That's a little bit sad. It seems like a pretty fun party. So far it hasn't been interrupted by the twilight. But we are gonna have to deal with that eventually, but for now, let's just have some fun. Who brought the reindeer hats? That amazing, unique cake. Although I'm currently playing a visual novel called Flyable Heart, which had a scene where everyone kind of made their own unique cake. They were pretty unique. I wish to have my world back. Yeah, so we are bringing that up. Because he did straight up steal his body. That is a good point. I'm glad we're talking about that. Because his life is essentially a lie. I can't feel very good. Please stop. You're gonna make me cry, Haska. Not breathing, though. I knew who it was by the friggin' grunting. That's probably not the Kita sensei you know. Yeah, that's... yeah, it's quite a rude thing to say to a fellow teacher. But he's not the man you knew. He's been Twilightified. Probably a clutter now. Yeah, we need to talk about this. Well, it is a lie. I don't want to believe it either, but... And lies have been a big theme of this episode. Man, this is getting heated. It's harsh, but she's not wrong. You. Even going to that? Damn. Man, I think this is the first time we've had a big fight like this. Yeah, you missed a very awkward scene. Luckily for you. I guess it means you're supposed to be the perfect person. Come and deny. So we're just kind of implying that Asuka's always been kind of doing this. Are we? Like for a long time. So maybe we've never actually seen the true Asuka. This would be a depressing episode, and so far it hasn't disappointed on that front. Akayuki Children's Park. Just gonna add flashbacks to that, are we? And it's snowing. Or there's a little bits of twilight, one of the two. A very good question. I mean, we can assume he disappeared into twilight, but it wouldn't make a lot of sense because it didn't have any twilight stuff after that, so maybe it is not related, but it's gotta be, right? But if they went home earlier, it might not have happened, and that's what she believes. Oh, damn. Okay, you really are gonna make me cry, please stop. I don't know. You probably should. Nothing good could come of her being alone. Chasing a ghost. Man, Mia looks pretty good in that. Like, damn. Well, the park would be your first guess. Yeah, look at you. Better than they do. She's not there anymore, but she did go there, so that's a good place to start. Oh. You really should. But something's gonna run into you first. Oh, these are really cool visuals, though. That was a really cool shot. Yeah, now it's finally our problem. There's Kyosuke / Twilight King. One of the two or both. Okay, definitely. But the hair... Yeah, the hair seems too long to be Kyosuke's. Oh, that really... Oh my god, that really is who it was. Wow. Wow, I got serious chills. I mean, I had a couple of, like, inklings, like, right before the reveal. But, wow. Because I started to think the hair's a little bit too long to be Kyosuke's, but it's gotta be some kind of big plot twist. And then I started thinking, well, maybe, just maybe it's her from the past. Like, well, a different her. And then, like, 2 seconds later, that's what she says. So, wow, okay. Asuka, definitely the most important character in the show, without question. very influential in all these worlds. So wow, okay, I'm not sure what to make of that. Like, several questions appear with that. Yeah, I definitely would like some explanations about that if possible. She calls herself an emissary, not the actual Twilight King. So the Twilight King is probably then, yeah, Kyosuke the brother. But wow, this is quite the emotional episode, for sure. Okay, well, that was the 10th episode of Akanesasu Shoujo. And yeah, there's a lot to take in with this episode. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear at this point that that one fragment, Siriasuka's fragment, is just gone. We still don't know exactly what happened to her, really. But she's out of the picture for now, that's all we really know. I'm still holding on to hope that she exists somehow, somewhere, in some form. I don't want Siriasuka to die, so I'm still kind of hoping for that. But speaking of hoping for that, Asuka is as well. So yeah, Asuka's obviously much more affected by this than anyone else. And when we saw everyone kind of sitting on the roof and chatting, we didn't see Asuka. I was kind of progressively getting more worried about the state she was in. Kind of expecting her to be like sitting alone, depressed in a dark room somewhere, and then boom, she just comes out like dancing to music and stuff. It caught me off guard. It really caught me off guard. Like a few seconds after it happened, like it was pretty clear what was going on. She was just kind of, you know, forcing herself to be cheerful and kind of avoiding reality and stuff like that. Like it was pretty clear what was going on there, but initially it did quite catch me off guard, for sure. And we had this big old thing with the one teacher. I don't remember any of that stuff she was talking about, the whole proposal thing. Like, it kind of maybe rings a little bit of a bell if I think about it, but I didn't quite remember much of it. But I guess it's not really that big of a deal, honestly. But that was a thing as well. And that teacher ended up becoming like the Clutter, I think, because he was the first one to run into the Twilight gateway, you know, and all that. When the other teacher saw him, he was just like, "Go away! I don't need you. I'm not your friend. Go away." It was kind of mean to him, honestly. We did try to like cheer things up a little bit by having like a Christmas party, and they actually did seem to have a decent amount of fun there. But you know, it's kind of short-lived because arguments kind of sprung up because we have the kid Takumi, and as kind of a final wish of Siriasuka's, we brought him to our world to give him a chance to live, because if he stayed there, he would have died without question. So the only problem is, and I'm glad they brought it up, was that if he comes to this world, he doesn't get his own body. He takes over the body of the original Takumi. In other words, he stole his life for all intents and purposes. That's pretty horrible. Like, we may have saved someone, but we basically just essentially killed someone else to make that happen. Like, it's not a good solution. It's really not. Like, this is kind of the flip side of what we've experienced in the show so far, where we would go to a different fragment and stay there for a little bit and then come back. Like, it was always a temporary thing. We borrowed someone's body, but we gave it back to them, so it wasn't a big deal or anything like that. Just like a week or so of awkwardness at most, and they were back to their life. But this was different. This was completely stolen. And we saw how difficult it was trying to make it work as just a temporary thing. But could you imagine Takumi just living this lie of a life for the rest of his life? Like, that's not great. So he kind of wants to just go back to his regular life. He wants Siriasuka and Achan to come back for him and say, "Hey, Takumi, sorry to keep you waiting. Let's go back home." He wants that, but that's not going to happen. That world is no more. And everyone's thinking that, but Asuka, not so much. She's just telling him everything he wants to hear and giving him this false hope and all that. Just, it hurts to watch that, but, you know, I know it's not like Asuka's doing this out of malice. She also is kind of relying on this sort of false hope and just spreading it to him. And this is what kind of caused a big old heated argument between her and Yu. And I think that's the first real big fight we've had in the show. Like, we've had little squabbles here and there, but nothing felt quite as serious and pointed as that. So, because from Yu's perspective, this kind of brings back memories, because 10 years ago, she lost her brother in a similar way that she lost Siriasuka here, and she coped with it in a similar way, just avoiding it and kind of dealing with it in probably not the healthiest way. Like, she decided to take over the whole miso curry, whatever they do, business, instead of her pursuing her own dream, which you, of course, wasn't happy about, because it was pretty clear she was doing what she feels she should do rather than what she wants to, and her friends are never going to be happy about that. And this situation is kind of a continuation of that whole thing, and you kind of having the new perspective and not really wanting to do all that again, was trying to say something that maybe helped, but it didn't seem to go too well. We just kind of yelled at each other. And that's what happened with that. On the subject of the brother thing specifically, Asuka seems like she actually feels responsible for the disappearance, because just, you know, she should have kept a better eye on him or gone home earlier or whatever. So there is that, and it was even mentioned that she like went to that same park for like a year waiting for him or whatever. Just, yeah, that was very tragic. It's just, the whole thing is pretty horrible. So I think I've talked enough about that. So the only real thing left to talk about is just kind of the ending there. So yeah, Asuka went to the beach kind of looking for her brother or whatever, or the figure she was chasing, rather. And what did she find? She did not find her brother. She found herself, not in like a deep way or anything. She just found, I assume younger, she's shorter, so like a younger Asuka from a different world that's straight up like a servant, the chosen servant of the Twilight King. Just, wow, okay. Like, Asuka, I mean, we've seen more Asukas than anyone else in the show so far. Like, normal Asuka, shitty Asuka, and now evil child Asuka. Like, you know, that's actually odd, though, because, yeah, most of the, even the different fragments, everyone's always the same age, right? So the fact that she does appear younger is definitely interesting. I wonder if they'll explain that. I mean, she is younger, right? Like, I'm not just making that up. Let me go back to that. Like, it was, like, right at the end. Yeah, she's quite clearly quite a bit shorter. Like, it's not just the perspective. Like, she is shorter. Sure, she's got to be younger. But I don't understand how that would work, though. Oh, maybe it's a matter of once you're pulled from a fragment, you stop aging. Maybe that's it. Like, the Twilight King and the servants all kind of exist outside of time, so whatever age Asuka was pulled out of her original fragment to be the servant, she stopped aging then. So I guess it could be a matter of that. But what about Sexy You? Because by the end of the episode, I was still operating under the assumption that Sexy You was a servant as well, of some sort. But she's the same age as you, though. But they talked about how she disappeared, like, several years ago. So why would she look the same age then? I'm not quite sure. There's still a lot I'm confused about. I'm still ready to throw away that theory if it is proven wrong without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, who knows? But that ending scene was just pretty great, though. I love the visuals of the Twilight glimmers like flying around, and then you see her, and then she reveals her true form, like, I am you. Like, that whole thing was pretty great. Like, I really want to watch the next episode now, because what kind of conversation could these two possibly have? I'm very, very curious. You know, I thought Siri Asuka was very different than the regular Asuka, but she is even more different. Like, a lot more different. Is this the last Asuka we'll see? Or will there be one more Asuka that will be like the antithesis of the Twilight King that comes by with like angelic wings and stuff to save the day? I don't know. Will we meet another you? Probably not. But yeah, just, man, that is crazy. I really did not expect that until like a few seconds before it actually was revealed. I did not expect that at all. That was amazing. That was a great reveal. So yeah, I definitely have lots of questions about what's going on here. What world is that Asuka from? Why did she side with the Twilight King? The Twilight King is Kyosuke, right? Like, I think we see her in the opening, actually, now that I think about it. I'm gonna go back to that real quick. Yeah, in this episode here, it was at 2 minutes and 11 seconds, you know, during the opening. And yeah, I think that's her. Like, you can see the hair. I think it's a similar hat and stuff. I think that's her, because I thought that was the Twilight King for the longest time. But that could just be her. Because, yeah, the hair quite clearly looks a lot longer than it would be for a boy. And King is obviously male. So, yeah, that must be just Asuka. Like the emissary, chosen servant, evil Twilight Asuka. Huh. I couldn't quite tell because of the lighting of it, but maybe, yeah, it's got the same sort of expression. So yeah, okay. So it was kind of literally staring me right in the face this whole time. But yeah, but I could have. Then if that's supposed to be her though, then where's the Twilight King in the opening? I mean, I'm not gonna go through the whole opening right now to see if there's anyone else that could be it, but I thought that was the Twilight King for the longest time. So I don't know. Maybe the Kyosuke that disappeared in that Asuka's world. Maybe she went after him. Like soon after he disappeared, because the ages might be kind of similar between the two. And when she did that, she discovered that Kyosuke had become the Twilight King somehow, and just went along with the ride. I don't know. You know, now that I think about it, I really don't have much reason to believe Kyosuke is the Twilight King, aside from it being an interesting plot twist. I just saw the child with like the brown hood, and I was like, yeah, that's definitely Kyosuke. It's like a child-sized person, and Asuka definitely had a reaction to seeing the face, so yeah, it's definitely got to be Kyosuke. Because before that, the only reason why I thought Kyosuke was a Twilight King was just because it would be an interesting plot twist, and, you know, they had to bring Kyosuke back up somehow, and that would be just an interesting way to do it. Like, that's the only real reason why I believe that, which, thinking back on it, wasn't a good reason to believe so, but finding out that Asuka, it was that short person, definitely puts a new perspective on a lot of things. Like, but yeah, that makes sense. That would also be a good reason for Asuka to have a surprised look on her face when she saw the face of that person. But yeah, it also makes sense that the Twilight King wouldn't come himself to do these things. But yeah, that just really changes a lot of things. I'm gonna have to take some time to really readjust my thoughts on various things. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. I mean, we're in a bad situation right now. Maybe we could talk some sense into younger evil Asuka. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to Cnouki and Ryan for supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you consider clicking the like button and leaving a comment, because that's a great and easy way to let me know that people want more. If you want to do something big to help the channel, you can support me on Patreon and get nice benefits like early access to certain videos. See you next time.